Pitch is swung on and driven high and deep and gone! Walk-off homer! Say done! Say good night!
Am I going to say it? Am I going to say it? I think I'm going to say it. Don't make me say it. I think I might say it. Are we going to say it? You can't stop the Sox. What a night. What a night, man. What a night. Still processing that one. Man. It was a terrible night. It was an absolutely terrible night for the most part. It started off awful. I mean, you couldn't have had... I mean, I'm sure off the top of my head, I can't think of, more bad nights than we were having here tonight. Recency bias coming into play right now. But you had Hunter Dobbins leave the game early. You had bad defense. You had more base running blunders. You're thinking, all right, we're getting back to our old ways. It's the Rays. They're probably not going to blow this one. But this is where this team is different. Remember, I don't mean to bring up Raffy again, but I'm not bringing up Raffy. I'm going back to the game after Raffy. Something felt different to me. Maybe it took a little bit to get that going, right? But there was something in the air. It was a different smell in the air. I don't know. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I've watched a lot of Red Sox baseball over the years, and I just sensed something. I don't know. Couldn't really put my finger on it. But over the weeks here, you're starting to see this team come together. And this is the difference with this team compared to what it was a couple of months ago. Those bad base running blunders, the bad defense, not scoring with runners in scoring position, not able to capitalize on those big moments, would lead to a loss. Well, obviously tonight you had more of that. But the difference was they dusted themselves off. They picked each other up. They made clutch plays down the stretch. They came up with some good timely hits. They said, you know what? Those mistakes, those errors, that was a couple of innings ago. Let's get ourselves back on track and let's keep fighting for this one. That was the difference that I felt in this one. Even before the walk-off, I'm like, you know what? I felt like a couple of months ago, this had a completely different feel, but there was something different where you're still close. You're still hanging in there. And that's all you need to do, right? You can have... This is one of those games where it's okay. Where obviously it's okay. Where, yes, you hit a walk-off home run. But it's one of those games here where, yeah, it's all right to make a couple of mistakes here and there, but when it leads to losses constantly, that is where... it's the worst. And then tonight, this is where this team showed you they're different. There's a different feel to this team. They battled back here tonight. They got the job done. They did enough to keep themselves in the game, to keep themselves alive. And then King Ceddy saving the day. Man, oh man. Like I said, it was a bad night before this. Hopefully Hunter Dobbins is going to be okay. He had to leave the game early. I was very excited to see my ginger brethren back out there. And unfortunately, my ginger brethren was taken away just like that. More along the way, the bullpen, right? Obviously, the bullpen, they got thrusted into a tough spot. Alcala having to come in there. Alcala's really been coming in completely different situations later in the game. I mean, the fact that he had to get anyone who had to get up like that, that's never going to be easy, right? Even though they get all the warm-up time they want. Still, that wasn't planned. And then, Bernardino, tough night for him. But then the rest of the bullpen shutting it down. You know what else was good about this one tonight? Shout out to the bullpen without Aroldis Chapman. I mean, yes, we all love, Chappie coming it in and just shutting it down at the end of the game. I mean, the guy has been phenomenal this year. But it's nice to see that this bullpen, they got it done. They held the game. They kept it close. I mean, the rest of the bullpen, they picked up Bernardino, right? They picked up Alcala. All right, they got it put into a tough spot. Shout out to the bullpen. Shout out Roman Anthony. Who knows if we're even having this conversation right now if Roman Anthony doesn't come into the game late. He draws the walk, setting up the Ceddy walk-off. This is why you need to have Roman Anthony in the game. This is why he needs to be playing. He's a difference maker out there. I know he's a rookie, but he brings that same feel that Jackson Merrill did with the Padres last year. This was a guy where, coming into the year, I was saying, listen, this could be kind of like a Jackson Merrill situation, right? Because he's so advanced. He was so good. He forced himself onto the roster just like Merrill did, right? Merrill had a spring training last year with the Padres. He was great. He needed to be on that major league team, and look what he did for the Padres last year. It's the same thing here with Roman. Obviously, we're not even close to seeing the best of Roman Anthony, but him in his rookie year is so good for this team right now, even at the level that he's currently at. He needs to be playing every day because he gets on base, he gives a tough at bat. He's going to get the job. I heard someone out there say Roman's not good defensively. I don't know. I don't know what that was about. I think I heard that on the radio today or something. He's going to give you fine defense out there. Roman needs to be playing every single day, and he showed you that in the top of the ninth. He gets on base at a minimum, right? And the fact that he came in and he took advantage of just the one situation that he had tonight. The one situation that Roman comes into the game tonight completely makes a difference. I don't know. Who knows? Does Ceddy, who knows? Maybe Ceddy still goes deep even without that. But who knows? You never know how the universe works. You never know. Alex Bregman, good to see him back. Alex Bregman back in the lineup. I love it. Right, had the double in the 8th inning. Looking good on defense. Hasn't skipped a beat. This is why you need Alex Bregman in the lineup every single day. I also loved that Bregman, in the celebration on the walk-off, he was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stand back a little bit. I'm going to kind of go dad mode here. You guys have all the fun. I'll stand back and clap. How about Masataka Yoshida? This was hilarious to me. I need to go pull this up. I was dying with laughter when I saw this. I love Masataka Yoshida. He is the best. It is phenomenal. I mean, look at this picture. Look at this picture. Hold on, I gotta zoom out. Look at Masa. Just right over there on the left-hand side. He's so funny. I love Massa, man. He's just doing a nice little clap. I love him. He's the best. The Red Sox are 3-0 since Masataka Yoshida's come back. But good to see Alex Bregman back in the lineup. How about Marcelo Meyer? Shout out to him tonight. RBI double in the 4th inning. That cut the lead to 2. Great defense. Had the diving stop late in the game. Marcelo Meyer. This is why he needs to be in the lineup every day. And this is part of the result of Bregman coming back as well. It's nice to see him in the lineup. But now you get the good defense of Marcelo Meyer over at second base. You're seeing this team coming together, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of good defense, how about Trevor Story? I hate to bring up Derek Jeter on a Red Sox show. I know probably some of you are going to completely stop watching me after that. But how about the Derek Jeter play, all right, from Story there? Making it look easy. Making it look better than Derek Jeter, might I add. I'm just going to say. But Trevor Story. Guy's been solid. He's been solid. What a great night. A great night. So many things. So many emotions, honestly. Again, with how bad this night was going, you just thought it was going to be, Liam Fennessy, he went to the game tonight. I'm thinking, this has got to be real. The curse has to be real whenever Liam goes to the game. I'm thinking it's crazy. But the last couple of times he's gone, it's resulted in a win. So Liam Fennessy, shout out to you, my friend. Back-to-back wins. I think that might be a first for him. Has to be the first this year. If it's not the first this year, it's got to be for a while. I'm just saying. Matthew in the chat, banned for what? I don't know. But everybody, thank you for joining me here tonight. We got a huge crowd in here tonight. You're all awesome. Thank you so much. We've been getting great crowds here as of late, and it's nice to see everyone joining in here tonight for a what was looking like a very bleak situation, a very somber night. All of a sudden, it's turned into one of the most exciting nights of the year. You gotta love it, man. I mean, there's so many times I think back, to being a fan over the years, right? I mean, you go back to, I always think of the Bill Miller walk-off after the brawl with A-Rod and Veritek, right? I always think back to that one, where, remember, they had to really come back in that one. I'm thinking, oh, God, this game is ugly. And all of a sudden, they've pulled it out of their butts in that one. That was one where I can think of off the top of my head where it looked awful. I mean, sure, you had the nice VTech brawl there, right? Obviously, the legendary moment. But then after that, it was like, well, the Yankees were still up with what felt like 20 runs at one point. Maybe not the exact same situation, obviously, but still, you know what I mean? Many examples. I'm going to think about that one tonight. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think back to past moments where it looked tough, it looked terrible, but then it ended up being good. Give me some examples in the chat. I would like to see some examples here in the chat. And speaking of the chat, we actually have a super chat. I got to pull that up here from the Thinking Bigger podcast. Thank you, my friend, for doing that. Oh, let me pull that up on the screen here. And I'm convinced the guy pointing before Ceddy's home run is from the future. It is pretty wackadoodle how all that works. Listen, I'm not trying to take credit here. Hands up. I'm not trying to take credit, but I did say last night Ceddy was going to hit a home run. I know I think I said it was going to be off of Drew Rasmussen. I think I said that. But let's just take that part out of it. But I did say Ceddy was going to hit a home run. And he was going to have himself a nice night. I did say it was off of Rasmussen, but again, let's just pretend like that I didn't say that. Let's pretend. Good stuff all the way around. Thank you for the super chat. Really do appreciate that, my friend. It is pretty wackadoodle how all that happens, right? Thank you, my friend. Before we do get into it here today or tonight, I'm going to let you all know I have been so busy today. I mean, I luckily got done with my work for the main channel today right before the game. My brain was completely fried going into the game. And I was actually thinking to myself, well, if they end up losing, at least it'll be a nice quick show because no one's really going to want to watch. I'll get through it pretty quickly. And all of a sudden, my brain is completely refreshed. I'm a new Robbie over here. I'm a completely new person after that. So if you do want to go watch my mock draft, I did post that over on the main channel. And I got the Red Sox pick in there. So if you want to go see who I think the Red Sox are going to draft this coming Sunday, then go take a watch. But everybody, before I do get into it here, we're going to kind of break this all down. We do have a word from our sponsor. We got to keep the lights on. We got to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Hey, let's do a little player spotlight thanks to Arena Club. AJ, give me a player this season that you think is underrated and you might want to try and grab his card.
James Wood. I don't know that he's underrated, but Washington Nationals superstar in the making, and the first slab pack I ever opened had him in it. His rookie card, and the value is only going to go up and up and up. And I'm not going to sell it quite yet, Scott. I'm going to hold on to it because after he continues to hit big homers and put up the stats, make all-star teams, it's going to get more expensive for someone to buy for me.
This is his first full season in the majors. Keep that in mind. I think he's underrated. He's on a Nationals team that's meh. Not getting enough attention.
He might hit underrated 40 homers. When he makes the All-Star team this year, they're not going to be underrated.
That helps. He's been intentionally walked 4 times in a game. Anyway, if you want to try and find a Wood rookie card, go check out slab packs on Arena Club. And right now you can get 20% off your first slab pack. Or if you just want to go with a card purchase, go to arenaclub.com/FOUL. Use code FOUL. If you buy, sell, trade, collect, go for it.
Alrighty, let's get to it, shall we? And like I said, it started off pretty bad here tonight. Dobbins Let me pull up the final line for my ginger brother and Mr. Dobbins. It was not a very long line for Dobbins here tonight. Let me make sure I just got it here. 1 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 2 Ks. Obviously, that is he did not come out after an inning and 2/3 just because he ended up leaving due to an injury. Now, first inning, Yandy, he let it off with a walk. Mangum with a base hit. Caminero with the RBI base hit that made it 1-0. He worked around that, though. He got low to ground out. He struck out Walls. But second inning, Caballero grounding out. Simpson, this is where it all went down, ladies and gentlemen. Ground ball to Toro. Remember, Chandler Simpson, he's got some speed. It's funny how I'm not saying Chandler Simpson with his speed is what caused the injury, right? But it's just interesting how just having a guy like that in Chandler Simpson, it can throw guys off a lot, right? You know, especially the pitchers that are covering the bag, you get like more alert in those situations. And with Dobbin, unfortunately, he had to get over there pretty quickly. He had to cover the bag quickly. Just took a bad step, and he just came up limping. I was thinking, was it an ankle at first? I was hoping it was nothing serious, but then once he was still standing up there, I was like, okay, it doesn't look great, obviously, but it looks like we've avoided a major injury like what happened with Tristan Casas. So luckily for that, and it's terrible because it looked like, obviously Dobbins, he just came back from an injury. He's been very solid for the Red Sox this year. I would say one of the more unsung heroes of the first couple of months of the season. And it looked like he was on his way to a clean inning after that ground ball. And again, just one step of the bag, one bad step on the bag, and all of a sudden things changed just like that. Alcala came in. He's, able to get out of it there, but the third inning, it got really messy here. Aranda with the double, Mangum with the base hit. Aranda ended up staying at third, and then Mangum ended up stealing second. Got a couple of pop-outs there, so you're thinking, all right, well, maybe we're onto something here. Then you walked Walls with the bases loaded, Caballero with the grounder to Toro, and this is where some bad defense came up. Abraham Toro ate him up. Now, I'm not going to make excuses. You got to make a play. That's right in front of you. It's a play you got to make. I will say, though, not making excuses. So don't tell me that I'm being biased. I'm being a homer, and I'm, making excuses for my own guys. But I do wonder where Walls, he was running. I wonder if he just got in front of him and Toro just took his eyes off of it. I'm not sure. Not an excuse, just thinking what happened there. So maybe it blocked his vision a little bit. It did take a bit of a bad hop, but again, it's right in front of you. You got to make that play. They made it 2-1. The bases were still loaded. Here comes Bernardino. Pass ball, Mangum scored. Simpson with the walk. They made it 4-1. And you're thinking at that point, I'm sure a lot of people turned off the TV. I'm sure a lot of people went, they hit the clicker or they switched over to Netflix. They went and grabbed themselves a snacky snack, a little drinky drink. And they said, all right, well, hey, Sox, it's been good here. This is looking terrible. We'll see you tomorrow. I wonder if anyone actually... Now, it's probably a little too early to leave Fenway Park at that point, so I don't think anyone probably left Fenway. But I totally think some people turned off the TV. I totally think that. What is it? It's a Friday. It's a Friday night. Of course some people probably turned off the TV. They probably said, oh, forget this. I'm going to go out and do something. I think someone in the chat said they went to the movies tonight. Who went to the movies? Someone went to the movies here. It was Phoenix. You went to see Superman. I'm so out of touch with movies that are coming out these days. I'm so busy. I'm not trying to make that sound like a flex, but I just don't keep up with anything. I'm terrible. Well, I hope you had a good time, my friend. I hope everything was good. I hope the popcorn was good. I got to get back to the movies. The popcorn is always phenomenal at the movies. I got one movie theater right near me. I don't know if all movie theaters are like this now. When was the last time I went to the movies? I think it was, I don't even remember the last movie I saw. What was it? Was it Mario? It might have been the Mario movie, to be honest. If there was one after that, I can't remember it. But the movie theater near me, it's got these great reclining seats. It's awesome. It has this little table that goes right in front of you. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. I got to go back to the movies. Maybe Superman. I got to go see Superman, I guess. But well, that was it for the Rays offense, luckily. Well, the bullpen, they came in after that, and they did a great job. Did a phenomenal job after that. But let's get to the offense here. Let's get to the offense. Now, when it came to the offense, right? First inning, Willier with the base hit, Story with the walk, Meyer with the K. Toro grounding out into a force out. Ceddy, well, we'll get to Ceddy here in a second, obviously. But staying hot early on. RBI base hit. They made it 1-1. But then Duran flying out. That stranded Toro. Let me actually see. What was the Red Sox final line with runners in scoring position? 2 for 11. I mean, goodness. 2 for 11 with that's how bad of a night it was, man. They had a lot of opportunities throughout the night. I will say, though, one positive. They only struck out 4 times tonight, so they were putting the ball in play quite a bit. I mean, how many times have we seen the Red Sox, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, 2 for 11, and then like 11 or 12 Ks? I mean, how many times have we seen that? So it just goes to show, when you can kind of limit those strikeouts, maybe you can keep yourself in the game a little bit. But 4th inning, they were able to add on a couple more. Willier with the walk, Story with the base hit. Meyer coming up big, RBI double. But then this is where you saw some base running. Toro, he grounded out to score a run. But then Ceddy, he lined out. Meyer, he got thrown out at third base, right? So that was tough. That's tough. But obviously, the big moment. Let's play it again, shall we? We got to play it again.
1-2. Pitch is swung on and driven high and deep and gone. Walk-off homer. Say done. Say good night.
It's so good. So good. What a great call, by the way. Great call. Gotta love that. But again, that doesn't happen. That does not happen if Roman, well, who knows? Maybe he ties it. I don't know. But that moment in particular doesn't happen unless Roman draws the walk, right? That's the thing about Roman. It's not that he just goes up there and he just gives you a great AB, but guys are going to pitch around him, right? That's the force that he is, right? These guys don't want to go near him. They're going away from him. They don't want to give him anything good to hit because they know what this guy can do. So it's like, yeah, he's shown the ability to go up there, give you a, 8 to 10 pitch AB. But right, that he can definitely work the counts like that, right? He can foul off a lot of pitches, right? He's going to take those balls. And, but that right there, especially off Pete Fairbanks, one of the best in the game, right? You got to love that. This is why you need Roman in this lineup. Whatever. If they wanted to just give him a night off, all right, that's fine. Maybe it was a scheduled night off. I don't know if Cora mentioned that anywhere. I don't know. But this is where the surplus of outfielders could become an issue. Obviously, it wasn't an issue here tonight. It ended up paying off, and it was fine. But this is where you do wonder. They're going to have to make a move at some point. I saw people coming out of the woodworks here today saying, hey, listen, we need to keep these guys. We need to keep all of them. We got to keep Duran. We got to keep Abreu. We got to keep Ceddy, Roman, Massa. We got to keep all of them. You can't have enough good players. But this is, again, it worked tonight. But I do wonder at some point, you're going to have to make some kind of a move, especially... Well, now, let's actually say this. Now that Dobbins, who knows what's going to happen with him here? Hopefully it's not serious. I don't know if there's been any news. I haven't been able to, check on anything because we got set up for the show. But now that Dobbins is down, of course, Richard Fitz, I would imagine he's going to be coming back up here. Tanner Houck, is he going to come back up? I think he pitched a little bit better in his last start. But what's going to happen there? If Dobbins is going to be out for a while, well, things could get really interesting here. So we all know The Red Sox really need to beef up the top of the rotation behind Garrett Crochet. They need a good number 2. Listen, I don't want to trade anyone. I love all of these players, right? I mean, it's not like, I think people, I don't want to say people in general, but I think a lot of people out there, they say, when they hear someone say, oh, we got to trade this guy. I'm not saying it because we gotta trade someone because they're bad. If it is moving Duran or Abreu, they have really good value that you're taking from a surplus and then you're adding it to a deficit. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it, right? You're kind of making things get a little bit more even. That's just the way I see it. And you saw it tonight. Again, it paid off. It worked out in the end. But we got a lot of season left. I don't think it's completely out of the question to think about making a move like that. I'd rather keep everyone. We'll see what Craig wants to do. Craig, he actually did talk a little bit. I'll go over the comments from today from Craig that I thought were really interesting. Before I get to those, though, we do have to wrap it up here on Nesson. If you are watching this on Nesson, we are out of time here. I am sorry. But like always, you can come over to YouTube, catch the rest of the show over on Monster Territory. We're going to go over not Game 2. I apologize. That's a typo. We're going to be going over Game 3. And we'll go over what Craig had to say here. But everybody on Nesson, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. But before I get to Game 3, everybody, I'll go over the Craig comments as well. We do have one more sponsor. We got to pay the bills, keep the lights on. I'll be right back.
AJ, we're in Vegas right now, and I have not had a lot of time to eat during the day. So
No.
What could we do?
I would love a Huel right now. Vanilla Huel would go down perfectly because when I have to skip meals because I'm too busy doing what you do in Vegas, which is not eat, I need a quick replacement, and Huel is the perfect thing.
I'm a chocolate guy myself. It's got the chocolate milkshake vibes to it. If you miss a meal, Huel can be your answer. If you're looking for a big protein boost, Huel can be your answer. So go check it out. Our friends at Huel are part of today's sponsorship. They've got you covered, spelled Huel. That black edition is a complete meal to feel full, focused, and ready for your day. Little prep, basically no prep. Shake it, open it. Huel has sold over 500 million meals around the world, and now it's your turn to try it. So go to Huel.com/foul and get Huel today with the exclusive offer for the FT fam of 15% off for new customers if you use the code, you know it, FOUL, minimum $75 purchase. Get after it.
Okay, let's get to it here, shall we? Now, we got Game 3, and I'm thinking I always forget when it's a 4-game series. That is like one weakness I've always had. I always just think 3-game series. 4-game series always just throw me off. So that's why I had Game 2 in there. I don't know. I got a potato for a brain. I'm sorry. But here we go. Tomorrow on a beautiful Saturday at Fenway Park. I actually don't know what the weather is going to be like. Is it going to be good weather? I don't know. I don't know. But we got Garrett Crochet on the mound. And, listen. I said coming into the series, man, this was a series that you wanted to win. This was a series that you wanted to win going into the All-Star break to build that momentum. And speaking of, we got to go look at the standings. What's going on here with the standings? Hold on a second. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is looking quite juicy. Look at that. The third place Sox. Listen, we are a few games out of second place. Hold on a second. I'm trying to just line this up on the screen for you. We're getting close to second place. The second place Sox? Are we cooking here? Are we cooking? Hold on a second. Let's go to the wild card race. They are firmly entrenched in the second wild card spot. They have now jumped over the Rays. The Rays are now hanging on by a thread for that third wild card. You got the Mariners a half game out. The Royals, they're starting to get a little hot here. What's going to happen with the Royals at the deadline? They've won 4 straight. Still a couple of games under 500. The Twins are playing a little better as of late. We all know Joe Ryan. Maybe he could be on the table. I don't know. But nice to see the Red Sox in the second spot. That's just crazy, man, because this season's been so funny. You go back a few weeks ago, we're thinking about who are we going to sell, right? You just drop that series to the Angels, after the Raffy trade. You drop it to the Giants, right? And then you're thinking, all right, well, no Raffy. This offense stinks. All right, well, we're done. It's time to sell. How many times have we been on the brink? Remember, you go to the Bronx, you're thinking this might be it. Might be over. It might be time to lay it to rest. Let's just look towards 2026. And then you go to the Bronx, and then you just wake up, and you figure it out, right? And then even after trading Raffy, you win 7 straight games. You just beat the Yankees, beating the crap out of the Yankees all year. And you trade Raffy, and you're like, oh, what the? And then you win a series against the Mariners, but then you go through a cold spell, the Angels, Giants. You're thinking, all right, well, okay, maybe this is what we are. And then all of a sudden, they start turning it around. And here they are, second wild card spot. That's pretty crazy. Now, like I said, coming into the series, I said you really want, obviously you want to win every series, but man, oh man, this was one that you really want to win, especially when there's wild card implications. And the All-Star break is kind of that time. It's that downtime for everyone, especially everyone in the front office. I hope people know that, people in the front office during the All-Star break, they go away, right? That's their time off. So, I don't know if anyone knew that was a thing. They step away, right? They put the phone on silent pretty much. Well, maybe Craig might not be doing that this time around. But going into the All-Star break, looking like this is a very good sign for the trade deadline. Right? And I've been seeing people saying, oh, the Red Sox, they're going to buy and sell? What does that even mean? You can't do that. Well, of course you can, right? You can trade from a surplus. You could, quote, sell to help you buy, right? So it's like you're buying, but you're trading from a surplus, right? If that's the way they end up going. We'll see. But they're really setting themselves up here. Shane Baz, he's on the mound here. Baz, his first time against the Red Sox this year, looked great. I think that was the start where Tanner Houck gave up 76 runs or whatever it was. Was that the start? I can't remember. But he looked great. And then the last time, it was a no decision, 5 innings, 3 earned, I believe. So they're kind of maybe trending in the right direction here against Baz. Baz, he hasn't looked completely amazing as of late. This season, I had high hopes for Baz. And he's not been bad necessarily. But lately, though, he is starting to pitch pretty well. He was looking a little bumpy the first couple of months. But against Detroit last time out, 7 Ks over 6. He struck out 11 A's over 7. Against the Royals a few starts ago, 9 Ks over 8 innings. So, yeah, it's looking pretty good for him lately. He's pretty middle of the road when it comes to most of the metrics. He's going to bring the good velo, right? That's going to be the pitch that he goes to. So the Red Sox, they're going to have to try and take advantage of the breaking pitches, the off-speed pitches. Those have been pretty weak for him this year so far. Let's get the numbers here. Now, the knuckle curve has been a good pitch for him. That's been his second most used pitch, batting 180 against it. Changeup, 466 slugging on it, though. So let's see if he can leak a changeup out over the plate. If you take a look here, look at all the juicy redness right there in the strike zone. And hey, that looks like a sweet spot for a left-handed hitter. Maybe Roman goes deep tomorrow. Maybe Marcelo Meyer goes deep. Maybe they can maybe do a little something. Maybe Toro. Maybe. I don't know. But looking at the other pitches, he's really going to stick with 2. That's kind of been the thing. He's been more of just a 4-seamer curve guy. He's mixing in some changeups as well, but the changeup has not been a good pitch. So if he can dominate with 2 pitches, And all right. But this could be a start where maybe the Red Sox, they start to get to him a little bit later on as they work through the lineup a little bit more. I could totally see him coming in and shutting it down the first couple of innings, right? But if you want to go deeper into the game, I mean, he has been able to go deep into the game here the last few starts, so it looks like he's figured something out. But with the red-hot offense of the Red Sox here, maybe they can figure something out. Now, with Garrett Crochet, obviously, do I even need to pull up the numbers with Crochet? But he has been a little, not amazing as of late. Past couple of starts, he's been trying to find it a little bit, right? Washington wasn't bad, but you expect the Nationals, right? Maybe kind of shut those guys down a little bit. He was all right, 5 innings, but he gave up 9 hits, right? He was just leaving a lot of stuff over the plate, too hittable in that game. Against the Reds, he gave up 5 runs. So he's given up 17 hits over his last 11 innings. He's just been way too hittable, so he's been lacking that command. Remember against the Angels, he shut them down. So he needs to kind of start getting back to just getting that command a little bit better. There's been a couple of times this year where he's been battling some mechanical issues, right? So I wonder if that's happening here in the last couple of starts. So we'll see. But overall, great numbers for Garrett Crochet on the year. So overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this one for tomorrow. If we're looking at some guys that could be an absolute problem for Boz, I'm looking at Bregman. Hey, Bregman, could this be the first home run back after the time away? He's got a 1667 OPS in 9 ABs against Shane Boz, hitting .556 with a homer. He's the only one in the lineup that has a homer off of him. But if I'm looking elsewhere, Meyer has 1 AB. He's got a hit against him. Story's got 9 ABs against him. Not really a whole lot of production, though. Only hitting .222. Other than that, Willier. Hey, maybe Willier can go deep tomorrow. I'm looking for a lefty bat to go deep tomorrow. I'm looking for that. Hitting .333. 762 OPS against them. So you got a few guys in here that have had success. But again, with Boz, that's kind of what I'm looking for here. To see if maybe they can just hang tough with him and try to get to him a little bit later. If I were to actually go here against he's against the lefties. He'll go pretty even. He'll go more with, obviously against the righties, but I need to find the numbers against the lefty bats to see if there's anything there. But that's what I'm thinking. Try to find something hanging over the plate. Take advantage, right? This Red Sox team, they're just clicking right now, man. Everything is looking great. Everything is looking wonderful. You got to love it. Now, really quick, let me just pull up here. Craig, he went on the radio, I believe. What was that? WEEI? Was that yesterday he went on the radio? My brain is so fried. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what day it is. I don't know anything. I believe he might have posted some. Yeah, that was yesterday. So I think I might have I don't know if I brought this stuff up in last night's show, but he did say, there's a few quotes. Let me get you all caught up on that. I think it's really important to point out we don't have to trade one of the outfielders simply because we have more guys that are capable of contributing and can start every night. Now, that's leverage. That's purely leverage. And he needs to be saying stuff like that. Listen, if there's a way to keep everyone in the fold, listen, if they can make it work and that helps win games, I'm all for it. I just want to win games at this point. But that does have a little bit of a smell of leverage to it. Because if he just goes out there and says, oh yeah, we're shopping this guy. Yeah, we're going to look to move him. Well then, you're going to kind of work your way into a corner. Because you're just setting yourself up in a weak position, right? Now if you say, oh no, we're actually going to keep these guys. Well, that's going to try and maybe get teams to maybe budge a little bit more. We actually got a report here today from Sean McAdam. Let me pull that up here. Sean McAdam had a couple of things here to say. And let's share the screen. Need to find the exact quote, but let me see here. Oh, here it was. Let's see. So the San Diego Padres, according to an industry source, have been relentless in their pursuit of Duran and have repeatedly approached the Red Sox. Problem is, they don't match up particularly well with the Sox. They have some intriguing starters in Dylan Cease and Michael King, but both are in the final year of their deals. And the Red Sox, unsurprisingly, are not about to move 3+ years of control of Duran for just 2 months control of 2 different pitchers, especially Michael King, who is sidelined. Now he goes on to say, AJ Preller is among the game's most creative executives. If Preller could package his team's top 2 prospects, catcher and shortstop Leo DeVries, and acquire starter with term, I think he means with control, whom he could then flip for Duran, maybe there's a deal still to be made between the clubs. Otherwise, it's difficult to envision them as trading partners. I'm going to change up one word in there, and that's the word "and." He said here, if Preller could package his team's top 2 prospects, catcher Ethan Salas and shortstop Leo DeVries, I'm going to change "and" to "or." You don't need to package those 2 guys to get you a starter for Duran. Leo DeVries, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's one of the top prospects in the game. I'm not saying he's Roman Anthony level, but he's a top 5 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. Now, Ethan Salas, very good young catcher, but offensively, he's had his struggles, right? So maybe a change of scenery could be the best thing for him, and the Padres just figure out the catching situation elsewhere. You got the draft coming up. Maybe the Padres can go get themselves like someone like a Caden Bodine or something like that. You know, maybe Luke Stevenson out of North Carolina. You got a couple of guys. But Ethan Salas, I think, would be more appropriate in this because, again, great defense, could be a superstar catcher down the road. But I think he needs to go, unless the Padres can figure something out. Honestly, like I've even thought about Salas coming to the Red Sox because they have done so well with the hitting development. So maybe put him in their system and maybe you can get something out of Salas, right? But I look at that more as a 3-team trade. I agree with him. Maybe you can get another team involved. But I think if you could ship out Salas, the Red Sox could send some prospects. Maybe now that Hunter Dobbins is hurt, that could change some things, right? Because I've had a couple of people mention to me in the last couple of days, or suggest ideas where, maybe you could do something with Richard Fitz, right? You got Dobbins back now. Well, now that Dobbins is hurt, I mean, who knows? Maybe there could be something there where maybe you want to actually keep one of these guys. Or, you could flip Kyle Harrison, who you just got in the Raffy Devers trade. They do like Harrison a lot, but it's just a thought. I've been hearing Peyton Tolley coming up a little bit. I will be very sad if Peyton Tolley ends up getting moved. I will probably cry myself to sleep. I love Peyton Tolley. The guy just looks amazing. He's 6'6". He looks like a linebacker, and he's got a mustache, and he's just throwing gas. That is like the perfect picture to me. Like just a guy that looks like someone put out a really funny tweet. I think it was Not Another Sox podcast. They said he looks like he can just go chug 13 beers and then go strike you out. Peyton Tolley is amazing. Like he's very good, but he just looks amazing. Like that is a guy I will totally buy that guy's jersey. Like he's perfect. Do not trade Peyton Tolley, please. But maybe you could send Salas a few Red Sox prospects, maybe a couple of these pitching prospects, maybe Connolly Early, David Sandlin. I love David Sandlin. He came on the show one time, but he's really good, so I could see teams, wanting him, whatever it may be. Kyle Harrison, maybe get a package together, Salas and a few guys from the Red Sox, and you could send that somewhere and get yourself a number 2. And then one of these outfielders can go somewhere like Duran or Abreu. again, I want to keep these guys, but if it can help you land at number 2, then I'm going to be open to it. He mentions Mitch Keller. Well, the Padres are open for business when it comes to pretty much everyone except Paul Skeens and Andrew McCutcheon. But Mitch Keller, maybe he could be an option. I think Mitch Keller is going to be better off in a pitcher-friendly park. The batted ball data is, it's a little weak. But a guy that has success when, he has pitcher-friendly park, has a good defense behind him. He mentions Edward Cabrera, Sandy Alcantara, but he did say here that the Red Sox have yet to check in on either of the pitchers. I wonder if maybe he talked to Craig Mish. Craig Mish of, I forget what newspaper it is or whatever outlet it is, but it's in Miami. But I wonder if he's very dialed in with the Marlins. So I wonder if maybe that was a conversation. He did say here, as for bullpen help, relievers are expected to flood the market, but finding what the Red Sox need, a trustworthy, high-leverage reliever to handle the 8th inning, will not be easy. It's possible the Sox could acquire a closer like Ryan Helsley or David Bednar and utilize him in the 8th inning. So, he kind of mentions a few other things here. Oh, that was another thing. Ken Rosenthal, he put out there today that Alex Bregman is not getting traded, which I told you all from the moment I even heard that. I'm like, that's silly. That's not happening because the Red Sox, they want to extend him. I guess there haven't really been conversations, but you need to get Alex Bregman signed up. Now, I don't think you need to rush to get a deal done because I think for Bregman, he likes it in Boston. He just had a quad injury. So what's the market really going to look like for him? Sure, he had a market this past offseason, but I mean, is that going to be the same thing this offseason? Are the Tigers going to come to the table again? It's a year can change a lot of things, right? There's a lot of moving parts going on. Everything is so fluid and so much can happen over a year. So would the Tigers even be interested in Bregman again? I don't know. To me, I think he needs to stay in Boston long term. That makes the most sense. The moment I saw that story come out about Bregman, it made no sense to me. It just absolutely none. So we will see what ends up happening here, but the Padres, they are keeping the phone on. And AJ Preller has probably already called Craig tonight at some point, I would guess. But again, I pointed it out the other day. I came up with the 3-team trade, right, where a couple of nights ago. It depends on what the Twins want to do. If they want to part with Joe Ryan, then you could send Duran over to the Padres, Salas, a few Red Sox prospects, or one of these pitchers that are closer to Major League ready, a couple of them. You could do going to the Twins, Salas, Kyle Harrison. I would hate to give up the password, but I could totally see the Twins maybe wanting a good bat like that. And, maybe even giving another pitcher. Maybe, again, Harrison, or Connolly Early, David Sandlin. I would imagine they would want Peyton Tolley, but I think Peyton Tolley isn't going anywhere. So you can get some kind of a package going on there, going back to the Twins, and the Red Sox can get Joe Ryan. We'll see. I think the Red Sox are going to end up making some kind of a move. And I know a lot of people have gotten on to Craig this year, but we need to remember here, ladies and gentlemen, you can disagree with me all you want, but I mean, Craig pulled off a very good offseason. Whether you like Craig or not, we all have to agree that he had a phenomenal offseason. He brought in Crochet. He got Bregman. He traded for Carlos Narvaez. We're all raving about Carlos Narvaez, but do people remember that Craig was the one that traded for him? He signed Aroldis Chapman. We have been very lucky to have Chapman this year. The bullpen, who knows where the bullpen would be without him? He made all these moves. All the moves that he made, those guys are all-stars. Crochet, Bregman, Chapman, they're all-stars. Craig did all of that. So, listen. TD, John Henry got Bregman. Now, he signed off on it. But, hey, Craig, at the end of the day, you got to go back to the quote from this past offseason. Got to go back to that quote where Craig, across the industry, was drawing a lot of respect from pretty much every executive out there because he was working, quote, tirelessly. Guy was nonstop. He was a madman this past offseason. I think people were getting sick and tired of Craig Breslow this past offseason. So, in the end, Craig nailed it this past offseason. And remember, even though the trade deadline didn't really work out last year, I think that was a bit of a different situation because he had to clear guys off of the 40-man that were coming up on Rule 5. So I think he tried to do a little bit of both, where he still had his eye on the future a little bit. Yeah, the guys we got, they stunk. Who do we even get again? Luis Garcia. Who is the other guy? I'm going blank. From the Reds. Going completely blank. I don't remember who they got. It was a reliever from the Reds. I don't know. But he did make moves. And then he got, Danny Jansen, which was like, ugh. Lucas Sims. Thank you, Lawson. He made moves. Right? So, listen, Craig has made moves. Whether you like Craig or not, he's out there working the phones. And I think he's going to get something done for the deadline this year. But he's also still going to keep the future in mind. He's going to look to bring someone in that they could have for next year, the next year after that, maybe even the next year after that. Might be pushing it a little bit. That might be expensive. But I think Craig's going to get something done. We'll see what ends up happening. Everybody, I'm going to wrap it up right there. What an amazing night tonight. Thank you so much. This was about to be a dreary, very lame post-game recap. Ended up being one of the best ones of the year. I want to thank you so much. If you counted the way out, hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new, if you are just finding this for the first time. We are trying to get to 5K by the trade deadline. Might be a bit of a tall task. Probably not going to get there, but I think we can get to 5K by the end of the season. I don't think that's completely out of the question. But to all the familiar faces here, Moose, Mason, Phoenix, Doc, Wyatt, Jules, Mark, Nick, Lawson, Eric, TD, Michael, Zachary, everyone else, thank you so much. Jonathan as well, thank you. Go have yourself a great night. We'll be back here tomorrow.